Hi everyone, I'm Xyza Mizrahi and welcome to another episode of Ballroom Eksenahan. So today we're going to interview a very special person. He just arrived in the Philippines. I mean, he's been back and forth here in the Philippines and sobrang sinishare niya yung energy niya sa Philippine ballroom scene and really challenged the kids and inspired them as well. So, yeah, please welcome double O double O, Jai!
Hello po.
Yes! Oh my
Hello po mga
gosh!
kuya. No.
Diba? Such a beautiful face. Sana all.
My one and only trick. Hold on.
So if you don't know, Jai, we met, I feel like, akala ko nga 2 years ago na kami nagkakilala. I feel like it was so long. Pero, like, last year lang pala, 2023, that we first met.
So in person, pero message before.
Yeah. Pero like, parang, oh my gosh, his energy is so, like, very warm, so open, very chill. And he's like I can feel that he really has a good heart. You have a good heart and nafe-feel your energy. Kaya pero like, sobrang, nung nakilala namin siya, he was just giving that kind of light that you really want to get to know the community here in the Philippines. Yung ballroom scene. As in, tas parang you really connected to most of the kids agad. 'Di ba? Parang mas ang bilis mo naging close sa kanila. Like
where feeling yung how do you say, I needed to learn yung mga pahiwatag mo na. Pero just
yeah. You had to be able to navigate.
Yung pakiramdam.
Yeah. Parang kinapa mo the energy of the kids.
And I mean I'm still not that great at it, but
yeah.
They're all very gracious too. So I'm very like I'm around also because of their kindness then,
Aww. I love it.
The energy is reciprocated.
Yeah.
So that's what I love about it.
Yeah.
At least in the short times that I'm here,
Yes. Okay, sa mga hindi nakakilala kay Jai, of course, we want to get to know who you are.
Okay.
Your journey and ballroom and what you do, performance and everything, your art, how you express yourself. So, yeah. How did, ballroom muna, since this is Ballroom Eksenahan. Ballroom, yes. So, how did you discover or paano ka na-introduce sa ballroom?
So my first experiences with ballroom were academic. Pero, well, I guess you can't really call those experiences, but I think through a class through UC Riverside, there was a guest teacher who researches and also is a dancer of both whacking and Vogue, and her unit was about the difference between the two.
Okay.
And I was looking for where queer dance was anywhere that I was. Kasi was looking for where are my people. That was around college time, and when I was able to connect more with the freestyle scene in the Bay, the first folks that connected with me, that let me like really find more of a home after like finding the freestyle groups in Santa Cruz, California, which there really aren't very many, were the Whackers over in San Jose. And then through them, I met more of my friends in a event called Bay Area Digs Deeper, and it's a much more like open styles, but come as you are, no cameras, and people get to show like the depths of their art that way, and that's part of what really like helped me connect with those other dancers there throughout it, and it's very much has a big root in the house dance community because of also Jojo Diggs, who was the founder of that, and how that event developed. I don't know. Oh, I met the Whackers before then, and some of my whacking friends there too also met some friends who decided to go to a freestyle like training session just to really understand like what cipher etiquette is or what just to really give yourself more time to cultivate that in yourself, that type of voice in your movement. And some of them decided to start going to the balls, and then on their first debut ball I went with them. That's how I met my father, who I recognized through the academic scene because he's a ballroom academic din. Dante ex Loren 007 na. But he also was the father of the Kiki House of Peaches, which kind of functioned as just a house that people could walk through in in Riverside, California. So he was far from me. Like, malayo.
Malayo ka doon.
Oh, like I don't.
Like, how long do you travel to like?
When I went to train with him, sometimes it was like 9 hours.
What?
Yeah, because I would drive to LA
Oh my gosh.
7 with traffic. Tsaka dalawa pa.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
But I only went maybe a few times. We would meet in other ways then. He would come to the balls in the Bay Area. I would see him there. Yeah, the Peaches were all over, at least California. They weren't spread farther than California. They're still around. There's also, I also started with Old Way though through him because that's his main. Old Way and hands are his categories, and that really stuck with me. But I also owe a lot of my inspiration and training in Old Way thanks to following advice from like now he's a Milan first West Coast legend. Christopher Milan, then Ryan Energy or Ryan Amor, House of Amor, and many of my friends are in his house. They've since disbanded, but yeah, like I started taking classes with them. Some of my dearest friends in ballroom I met around that same time. Like my sister Varsha, she's Marichi over in New York now and all over. But what do I say? She is primarily a DJ and walks face. But we started doing we started as like extra models for a ballroom run fashion show that my auntie shout out Hype Kitty 007. Oh, not 007 anymore. Fubu. Fubu and I don't know what. But yeah, like Hype Kitty, Pack Rat, Karma Styles Orichi has a big influence on my Old Way. Hands from my father, and most of my Old Way like philosophy really do come from Dante. And I do owe that to Ryan and them because they shaped me a lot. But also the sharpening that I got with my sibling Mers and Varsha have been like two of I think 7 or more folks that have really like shaped my journey through ballroom. Because we've all been in it for so like I think that was over 7 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, that was 7 years ago when you started.
At least when I started walking. No. I started walking. Yeah, 7 years ago. Pa.
Oh, ang saya. Interesting. So you've been learning the culture for like 7 years and more, and you found your peer. You found your family.
Finding more and finding who wants to stay family, diba?
Yeah. Kasi it's really like finding your chosen family, diba? And you really have to like vibe with them, get to know them, and like really be able to be accountable with each other and like really help shape each other. Pero yun nga, diba? That is the I feel like that is what's good in ballroom as well. Kasi parang everyone gives like parang how do I say it? Everyone influences you in the smallest ways that it shapes you as a performer, as an artist as well. Diba?
Yeah, and there's some folks that I haven't gotten to exchange with as deeply as I want to. Parang Karma Styles. Kasi like I've only ever danced with him in the club. I haven't even taken his class, but like that meant so much to me when I got to. And also, like, I'm thankful that there are people who in ballroom. One of my favorite things about ballroom actually is that there are people who want to be family, or like who really want to find family and let it grow that way, or that want to at least very much know each other outside of the boundaries of a house, because sometimes houses can be insular, and that's okay for what they're trying to do, but like that ends up not being my style.
Yeah, I see. Which is I feel like being a part of a house is not really just in ballroom eh. It's supposed to be it should supposed to spread out to your life. Like get to know who you are, your family, what else you do, not just what you walk, not just train what you represent in ballroom or just in performances, but it's in everything that you do in or out of ballroom, because that is family.
Yeah,
Right?
because it should be something that's about the fullness of you. I've also been around ballroom where people have told me that like a ballroom family shouldn't be a substitute for a quote real family. Pero like there are ways in which they serve. They're not serve, but serve, yes. Pero there are ways in which ballroom families like provide love that my own family
I
hadn't been able
understand.
to before.
Yeah.
Like once they were able to, I was like, oh, it can be like this,
Uh-huh.
you know?
Interesting. Yeah, I mean it's true. Pero syempre, 'di ba? Sometimes there can be a separation, but there is also a fusion in that, as a family, as a house, and as a community. Like here in the Philippines, we always say na, guys, even if you have different houses, remember we are one community. So let's try to, like, as much as possible, be accountable for each other. Let's like give advice to each other. 007 with a house or not. Let's just get together. I mean, because that is what a community is, right? How is the community there in um the Bay Area? Because you're
Sensitive
most likely
questions.
there, right?
Yeah, I'm usually there.
Yeah.
I most of the time I walk there, and or before I was walking in LA a lot. Uh, I've gotten to go to New York more than the other girls, which is something that I feel really lucky about. But mostly the Bay. The Bay, I really love it. They also, I mean, everyone has their problems, and I'm saying that way because I'm currently like recently like just witnessed online a fight that I think didn't need to happen the way it did, but that's also not my business at this point. But I know that there are people that have held it down for each other over years in the Bay, and also like there's a flavor of Vogue that's very specific to there, and people try to like. I really do enjoy that there are people across Kiki houses, across mainstream houses that want to build together, and even if we're not always great at it, I do think that a few key players have brought like honestly like emotional skills that have shaped the ballroom scene there for the better, in terms of like improving like emotional intelligence with each other. People who have been there a long time too, like who can understand why the culture can be sharp or not, and in what way, and also to prepare people for that. I think like there's a good balance of people that are like able to recognize that we are all still children in a way too, but also have that push to grow together. Like I think something that's nice there actually is that like it doesn't feel like everything relies on it doesn't feel like everything relies on that patriarchal like you do what I say because I'm the parent kind of energy. Some of that still comes because of experience, pero like it doesn't feel like it wins out just because it's experience and I don't know, painting your stripes or whatever. You know, it's very I feel that I've been able to watch a lot of people grow in ways that like they're very different people than they were even just a year ago. And I think like it's been like that for the better.
Okay.
For the most part. I'm
Okay.
also, and then there's that one situation I was talking about. I'm like,
Okay, let's not talk about that. Because like, pero is it the Bay Area is like for me how or maybe my understanding or my knowledge about the Bay Area is like there are many Filipinos living in the area, right?
yeah, sa Bay Area.
Diba? Like are there many Filipinos also in the ballroom community there or just a few?
A few lang. Pero kasi I think ballroom is very good about in the Bay Area too. They're very focused on and good about making sure that people that are of the culture that it came from get the resources that are meant for it.
I see. Okay.
A lot of our Kiki balls, for instance, have been partnerships with local organizations that provide services for at-risk youth, and I find that very inspiring. And also now ballroom is getting the chance to build spaces for itself together, and like I think something that we're learning very well too is how when we're at a function together, we're also in it together in some way. And parang like we have to rely on we also have to think about our relationship to the venue, for instance, as a community. Because we've actually lost some venues there too. This is not answering your question yet.
Yeah. Sige, go. Continue, okay, then I'll have a follow-up.
Okay. So Filipinos in San Francisco, there's really, I think, an okay spread of us across California. There's some new babies coming out of Sacramento that are dear to my heart. They also want to start up on whacking, so we've talked about that as well. But in terms of ballroom, they've been in the photography side of it. Si Randy go, and as one of I think the 4 there that are Filipinos. There's also my bestie Jericho. She's Kiki Miskino. I think at this point there were a few more. Some people have stopped walking for a while because their lives have changed, but they're still we're still amicable. We still love them. There's a lot of us are in Old Way. Actually,
which is actually
same
something.
Here. There's a Rising Star in the South to Sunset. That I think they're doing great down there too. There's a few people who there's a few people who are in ballroom and on the edge of ballroom too, because they're like on the industry side of things in LA.
I see.
Like my friend Ali. One of my friends too is focused on hustle, but she's also Filipino and walks sometimes too. My friend IJ, who is one of the old ways, he mostly walks old way now. Yeah. So it's a small group, but I think what's really interesting about us too is because we also have that flavor of like what it means to be a diasporic Filipino. There's things that we like a lot. What I love about like what like Akan Stan L talks about before is like it should be about like your performance should be 70% the language, 30% you. I think was the breakup that he said, or the breakdown that he said. And I feel like that's easy. That feels really natural to us Filipinos in the diaspora as something that we're trying to plug in.
Yeah, actually, that is what I'm really curious about. Like, because Filipinos are spread all around the world, like globally, diba? Like so many Filipinos, and like me, I'm always grateful or surprised whenever I meet someone like half Filipino or even sometimes one-fourth Filipino, as long as they're Filipino. Like it's interesting, like how you express yourself, especially in
Mm.
ballroom as well, and how how like, because there's a difference. There is a huge difference, like in what you've been through, what you're going through
Mm.
as like Filipino in the US, half one-fourth or such, because it's a different community than from living here in the Philippines, which is also different.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to ask, like when you came here in the Philippines and seeing the kids, seeing the community here, what is the main difference, or what is your observation in the expression there and here?
Mm. Noong 2023.
Yeah, the
Okay.
first time.
Kasi I
The
told you before too, like this time that like at the last two balls that I went to, like I could tell you that the feeling now is undeniable. That everybody, I feel so much more that everybody gets it.
Yeah,
You know,
the first jam.
first jam.
Yeah.
First jam was fun and also a learning experience for me. Kasi I was getting to see a bunch of people
Mm-hmm.
who some folks were just meeting for the first time
Mm-hmm.
too, like me and you.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the first time you saw Nunoy in a while?
No, 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 no.
Okay,
Not the
okay.
first time.
Okay, I know that was the first time I met Nunoy in person. And just like seeing, I think the one question I came into that space with was like, how do people like to share time and attention?
Mm-hmm.
Because like cipher etiquette in different places is so different. And I
Yeah.
mean, like in ballroom, people don't really call it. I mean, people
Yeah.
call it ciphering, even though it's not how ciphering looks like in other
Mhm.
spaces.
Yeah.
I mean, we have different games in each dance culture, diba? Like we have
Mhm.
pass the beat in ballroom,
Yeah.
but like that type of back and forth doesn't exist in the same way in different
Mhm.
dances. And I don't know. I think sometimes I bring some expectations that are based in other dance cultures that,
Mm.
especially in the Bay, because the Bay's understanding of, the Bay's understanding of how you can share space together and
Mhm.
timing, and the warmth that they feel is very much informed by house, in my opinion.
Okay.
Like because it's very much live at the same time.
Yeah. I
Um,
understand. Yeah.
and here I wasn't sure how best to describe it because I was just trying to, I don't know, listen first. And there is like a strong, I don't know, performance culture here, in at least in the metropolitan center, right?
Mhm.
Where, and I think people are also, were there newbies at that jam too?
Yes.
Okay. There were folks who I think we're still getting a sense of what it means to even exchange that way,
Yeah.
right? So, like, there's still, even at the club, sometimes people will stand very still and, like, that's their way of holding space for you,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's beautiful. And also, it's not what I grew up with.
Yeah,
And that's okay.
I understand. Yeah.
And it's not what I'm taught. It's not how I'm taught to engage.
Yeah, exchange or something. Yeah.
Even in how classes work too.
Mhm.
It wasn't super jarring for me because I've seen different ways people teach here because of like how different education systems work. But it was the Black American teachers I've had have tended to also focus on, you have to speak up while I'm going because I'm going to just keep going if you don't let me know that you're here. Whereas there's a different type of shared attention. For instance, when I was taking class with you, like there were more people who were like waiting and then were able to know exactly when they can speak, when they speak back, because that's more of how the interaction works here.
Yeah.
Not one better than the other, just also it does change what can transmit.
Yeah.
Even in like all style ciphers I went to here, that's something that I was like really impressed with. Like there's that new event that Curves put up. It's a groove thing.
Yeah.
It was so cool to witness how it actually changed too, because like that same like kind of recital kind of energy was at the beginning. People were like, and I didn't even get there at the beginning.
Just waiting, yeah.
Yeah, just waiting while everybody's standing still, and it makes it like I want to share about it at some point with or in a place that feels like safe for people to learn about that. For me, it was like, oh, this got scary.
Yeah, I feel like there is like here, like sometimes people are kind of like shy or should we like step in right away or maybe just waiting since it like especially like for example for that event maybe people are waiting for the program because they were expecting like that flow and then after the performances right everyone was already getting in and like just exchanging and just dancing. I feel like it's because of that as well. Pero like interesting seeing the different points you're sharing right now. Like you're a good observer. like seeing it technically, like you're experiencing how the different ways of teaching, different ways of like interacting in dance, like the cipher system, which is also something like something to think about, no? Learning being with different cultures and different spaces and different areas. That's something.
Yeah, because like even in like between New York and the Bay, their understandings of cipher are so different. I think Bay Area lovelies, I love you. I need to tell you, most folks in the Bay Area and ballroom don't know what it means to cipher the way that people in New York do. And I don't just mean to like deify New York. It's that same type of like, oh, you go, and they're expecting that you share something that is like very like show me up kind of energy. That's changing. In ciphers in New York, I found it was a lot easier to plug in no matter what energy you really or what level of skill you had. Even though like there is like a sharp like feeling like, oh, you better be good kind of thing, and like that doesn't always happen in every space, but in the house ciphers there, the people who were hosting really were mindful of that tone. Like they didn't see anybody else voguing at this one this one house session I went to, I think hosted by Cricket, but Cricket started cheering for me in the middle of it, and then everybody else also like they were paying attention to not just how what tricks I could pull out, but it's how their energy was carrying me through the whole time I was in the middle. Like that's why like we don't clap just to clap for no reason, right? It's because we're holding each other, right? Sorry.
It's like you're lifting someone's energy up or you're giving them energy. Kind of that.
And even in New York, people have been upset. Like some of the old heads have been upset about that at like OTA because like y'all bitches better not be dry though, you know. But it's like as long some of the folks that get it keep the energy going. And I think it's not just giving props for no reason, which I think some people feel upset, like feel a type of way about. But like there's a way you can really pull something more out of somebody if you hold them that way. And that's how I felt at those house sessions, that I could really be more than who I thought I was.
Which is something because it will help you like really give you, right? Like to really express yourself and to like the room's energy is really something. It can really hype you up, right? It can really like can turn something on and like just switch something in your feeling and your movement, and then suddenly you'll be doing something you haven't done before, right? Which is what's exciting also in ballroom, especially if you're surrounded with that kind of energy, with that kind of people, with that kind of vibe. It's different, and that feeling is really what, like for me personally, is what gravitates me towards ballroom. And like it's a good feeling. It is a good feeling, right?
There's something like it.
It's different. It's different. There's something like
she's different.
There's something in it that it's hard to explain, but once you've experienced, it's like
once you know it's like that, how can you go back?
I know. It's like you keep looking for that energy in any space, and just like have fun with it because you get to know more of yourself and you just get to express who you are. Whatever day you've had, it can really like change, right?
Like that's part of what I think about when I like people talk about the feeling or catching the spirit, catching the ghost in different types of it. I think that's something that I think is really cool about how people in ballroom in New York talk about it too. Like the feeling is also like catching the spirit. Like people think about emoting. They use that word sometimes to talk about like how what femme queen rage looks like.
Yeah.
And there's also, I think, like a level of just connection to everyone and connection to like how your spirit is connected to the spirits there and also the spirits before you. Like, are you voguing like Deja? Like, there's something about that when you can feel that without knowing how to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's that pure, it's that the pureness and the authenticity of that feeling, right? And it's like you mentioned earlier, the space is also really important. Like what you mentioned, I'm curious about like where we create that space for the kids because we can't just choose a space na parang okay, this we can. If the space is not supporting the community, right? It should be a space that we know believes in the community and sees the community and supports the community, not just because it's mainstream now.
Yeah.
Right. That is something, and it's hard to like look for a space that.
How do we, I know, like leverage the popular for the genuine?
Yeah. It's hard. It's something na parang like for me, like it's the conversation between like me, the community, and the person who owns a space or who represents a space is very important. Like what is the intention here? Why? Like it's always the why for me. And like, can you share an insight like in the Bay Area? Do you have like a consistent space where you always have your boss, or is there like for here, like here in the Philippines, like recently because of We Are Shapeshifters, it's a space where we hold classes, hold jams, talks, and we know that that space is really a space for the community. Really, it's like when you go there, it's like okay.
Yeah, and finding and building the
safe.
supports for that is so, because like it goes to every little piece of it too,
Yes.
diba? Like
Exactly.
Like we have some home studios that are like our consistent session spots, and we figured out which ones are which by feel, and also just by availability. But right now, I think we're very thankful for Fluid 510, which has been a great queer friendly space in Oakland, and most of the balls happen in Oakland, in San Francisco, in the San Francisco Bay Area, because like that's where most of the queer community is, where most of the Black community is. We've also used Public Works, we being Oakland to All, shout out Auntie, Oakland to All, and some of the Kiki babies are also hosting spaces in Sacramento. I think one is called Kiki on K Street. I haven't got to go to them yet. Proud of them. And also, there's a lot of there used to be more of a push to try to get more classes. I think we are only on like a pop-up kind of schedule now. Also because like people's schedules are hard, so it was hard to support. I think it was hard for a lot of people to support a class. I think like for instance, my uncle Soho Tichi, he had a class going on for a while, and like not many of the kids could be returners. He mentioned that like I was one of the few people, me and a few others, that were able to come back more consistently, and I wasn't there very often because I had work and I had rehearsals for because I'm mostly a folk dancer at the moment, at this season of my life. And I'm also trying to make space and time for whacking. So like there wasn't as much time, and other people, we also have work to go to. Yeah, just having, we don't have like, we have Fluid 510, we have In the Groove Studios. Bless those two spaces. If you're ever in the Bay, go support them. Yeah, like getting to have those spaces and witnessing people be mindful of the relationship to those spaces is really important, and also very like, that's one of the things that like at least I feel like really warm about when I see people like move about that mindfully.
Yeah, because really it's hard to find a space that genuinely supports a community. So once you find that connection, I mean,
like we've had to leave spaces too because we realized they weren't for us.
Yeah.
They weren't taking care of us.
Yeah, and that's smart. I mean, because if you're not feeling it, then might as well. Like same here in the Philippines, because it's hard to really find a space, because sometimes like I have to be honest, the others are just like there because they know they're getting something from it as well. But there are spaces who are like really like giving and supporting, and like you can feel it.
Okay.
But like there's the right balance there as well.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
it's
like
difficult. Yeah.
And sometimes it's having that extra support too, diba? Like, we had to find our own security, and that's what I intuited from like witnessing Oakland to Hall. Like one of the first things I think they knew they needed was like queer friendly security, because if it's a mixed bag, it really changes the tone of the event.
Yeah, that's true. Ooh. Well, hearing that, I want to hear your insight, like seeing what you've experienced from the first jam to how it's been here in the Philippines. Since you've been in and out, like how many times? Just
like
a few.
Since that first time, like
maybe 3 times. Yeah, 3 times. Like experiencing from then your second visit and now. Can you share it with us, like what your observations are?
I have lots of FOMO.
And just and just like 3 visits in like just 2 years, roughly 1.5. How do you find like the growth or like the difference?
I had only, like before I came on in 2023, I already had been like witnessing like how people's vogue was changing like very rapidly. I actually don't know how all of it has happened, but like in that year, I feel like there's been a strong proliferation and also sharpening of each person's style. Like I don't think I know anybody that vogues like Lacan, that does old way like Lacan, and I think it's incredible. Nobody vogues like Keith. Nobody vogues like Curves. I also just, I think I focus on them too because I think old way is very strong here in a way that I don't think I see almost anywhere else. Like that's something that me and my sibling Mers and my friends Neo and Cherry all really hope for old way in the Bay Area and across California. There's some new pushes there, really holding on to those. I think like there's also there's been like also a lot of different people being able to reach out outside of the Philippines to resources that have been longer established. And thanks to you, thanks to Nunoy, thanks to everybody who's been reaching back towards the Philippines, like even like because we even just had Satva and Satva Matthews, Aurora come through. and how they're understanding themselves and their own like even ancestral history is shaping how they're able to connect with people back here and also like witness the scene as it grows, really build. I think that's okay to say. Like I think somebody in Sakpa's class, I think it was her herself, said like, I'm really happy that people understand what it means to do a dip here, or like what that feels like, and how to bring somebody into that. That's something that I noticed right when I came in. It's like, damn, I have to level up, because yeah, like something I really like admired was how creative people were in bringing in their dips, because there's a whole like frame of reference here that I was trying to learn. Bakinese dito. Kasi like, yeah, I'm just thinking about a lot of different situations that were like specific to like Philippine movement culture here. I mean, like in the middle of the OTA ball, I remember when everybody like paused. I think it was at the end. Everybody paused and started doing tala.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, I'm here. This is real. And then, yeah, I think we've talked about this too, where I'm also really inspired by, to also circle back to another question you had, when people use their own frame of reference or their own relationship to their culture, I think parang si Cantor, si Benji, their projects are, and also their relationships to Vogue, si Magenta. Yeah, they they all have their own like specific relationships to their own identity and also their own relationships to queerness at large, their own ancestry that come through in their performance, and like their understanding of music, their understanding of how to like how Philippine or like living traditions in indigenous living traditions here in the Philippines, how they shape the way that you can affect a space too. You know, I think that's something that I'm really happy I get to see and witness people who are in their own culture like experience that. And like for somebody like me who's a Tagalog who like lost a lot of we lost a lot of our ancestral practices, but sana po too, there's me and a few of my friends are trying to think about what it would look like if things like that were to come back, and also how to participate in other cultures too in a way that is not only representative of the Philippines but also brings people into right relationship with both ballroom and indigenous practice. Like that's a really hard question, especially in terms of like how to relate together, right? Like seeing people actually practice that and like have that be part of their fullness when they're walking, you know, like that's crazy to me and also so special. And that's what part of what I love about ballroom too, is that like that's something that's not only expected in ballroom, like parang sabi ni Stan, but it's like it's celebrated in a lot of ways, and it's also messy.
It is. Actually when you mentioned like how they express like the kids, I'm also like really surprised the drastic improvement once they already know, once they have the understanding of the language. They already like, it's so easy for them. They're like sponges, like when you give them knowledge and give them like tell them um, the authenticity, how to build up to that. There, I don't know. It's so fast how things are here now, and like it's because everyone is so consistent when it comes to exchanging each other's stories, exchanging different, just even the small nuances, even the small stints or stunts or whatever that they throw at each other. It's
Right.
something, right? But it also bonds them together.
Oh,
And
nga.
like, 'di ba? Like even while we're eating after a function, I mean, it's something that adds to their personality, their message, and how they perform. And it's true what you mentioned, like not everyone can have that uniqueness in their performance wherein they apply the the culture or where they really came from, like the specific, like for example Keith, he's from Baguio, so he has a different like way of expressing himself. Lakan, that his power, or his, how do I say it, um his push to show that he is Filipino in his performance that is his motivation, and like everyone else, and it's just good to see and feel that, because it's hard to tap that, diba? And me actually seeing you researching and like really tapping into the roots, I mean, I feel like that's also something with your art, with your expression, like how you explore, how you, like in your art form, like right now when you mentioned that you are more on folk dance, like me personally, I don't have knowledge in that. And like seeing you, how your movement, the pangalay, your study, and those different art, and those different types of dance, for me is actually interesting as well. And I'm also learning from you when I see you, when I see how deep you wanna get to know those types of expressions. It's something. Right now, in folk dance and in your expression, in what right now, in what, I don't know, how do I ask this? Oh my gosh, it's hard to speak. Nosebleed ako. Pero like, right now, what is the most favorite, hindi naman favorite. What is like the specific dance or that you are attracted to? Is it pangalay, or are there any other traditional dances or like folk dances that you are researching on?
So, how do I think like, well, I ended up looking for. I was also part of the reason I joined folk dance too was actually to was actually because of the focus of the company I'm in, Parangal, and also another company I'm in, Sining Kapuluan, which was the first. I took my first like
Sorry,
classes
what's the
on
name?
Sining Kapuluan. Kapuluan,
Kapuluan.
parang archipelago.
Yeah.
They're queer and trans focused, Sining Kapuluan, and Parangal, like Sining Kapuluan came, like the director for SK, started their journey in Parangal, and it's cool because like there was an overlap in the timing too. I went to New York to start like my first New York focused like trip for Vogue was also the same was the same trip on going to take my first like folk dance living traditions classes through C. Jacob, the director and the founder of Sining Kapluan.
When was this?
2019.
Okay.
That was the first trip to New York. Right before the pandemic.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Pero that because that class was about pangalay, I was also very interested in it in the first place because there were a lot of similarities between the not just the aesthetics but also the practices that surround the family of dances we call pangalay, or that the sama called igal, bansak, iba pa. Pero I think it's more the more general focus I was really excited about, and I really am still excited about, is making sure that people, when they see my movement or when they see other folks' movement, they're able to find breadcrumbs towards their own past. Like, oh wow, that's gorgeous, I gotta go find out about myself. Or like that there is more and much more deeper dialogue that can happen between them and this living practice to Vogue, because they're both, like I said, Vogue and Pangalay both are living traditions. And I think like that is where like a lot of my focus is, because of the shared aesthetics. Pero I am that focus about trying to get people to look back towards themselves. It's because like that's also why I'm really grateful that like I'm not the only person in between these cultures to parang si Benji. She, like, I got inspired by her. She's exploring like one of her most recent projects was exploring like Tausug Sama deity that has roots in transness and queerness, or at least that's how we might explain it now, diba? And like that existed too for the Tagalogs, at least in the evidence that we have now. And I want people to know that they can reach back and also understand these types of ways of knowing themselves as something that can be in dialogue with everything else. I'm very thankful that Benji is there too, because not just as like, I mean, it's not just that she's living the culture, it's that, and not just that I'm not alone, it's that there's also the chance for me now to recognize different levels of either responsibility or different roles, or how do I say? Parang I can be sharper in my analysis of my own actions and how I can participate in or act as both guest and steward to these living cultures.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Like how you could be mindful in addressing or in expressing.
Or like supporting, for instance, Benji's projects, because like that exploration is actually, I think, both controversial and incredibly important.
Yeah. There is a very thin line, diba?
Oh, nga.
Especially in tapping those types of roots, cultures, traditions. Yeah.
And I'm really thankful for her too, because like there was a video recently of me doing pangalay, well, like more igal, because like more of my teachers are sama. Igal pansak. But I've also learned the style of her aunt, and because of the tags on the video on Instagram, Benji ended up seeing it and like saw the comments too.
Yeah,
There's a lot of...
I saw this.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of straight men from Vallejo who were very bothered.
Yeah.
They said that I was...
you were wearing... What you were wearing, diba?
Yeah, what I was wearing and my style of movement was more feminized.
Yeah.
Pero my clothing was intentionally like mixed. Pero it's also, I think it looked actually kind of masculine when I was there, but there's that context of the type of shirt that I was wearing, which wasn't a true biatawi, which is like the female performing attire for Samaigal, for Tausog Bangalay. But like I also know that some of the other teachers may have seen it, and I don't know which ones actually dislike it. And I also know I have a different. Here goes saying it out loud. I wonder if I have been given more leeway because I'm an outsider, and other people have had more scrutiny because they're insiders to the culture. But also I have the same responsibility of like upholding the tradition, and also the same push to remember that there are like queer and trans masters of that dance.
Yeah.
Which we'll see if I get afraid.
Actually, it's like you mentioned, it's controversial. It's hard to tap on, and you having that courage to like show, and it's hard. I know it's hard because
like,
you can't like
different like elders have different
perspectives
and have
different
fought for
takes
so
on it.
long for
Yes,
these
exactly.
cultures, right?
Yes, exactly. And as much as possible, we have to be respectful about it. And even I know like your intention in doing it, but of course, not everyone knows it, not everyone sees it, and sometimes they only see the dance or the superficial thing,
Yeah.
the one that you posted, but they didn't know that you were diving deep into studying it and into appreciating it and respecting it. Diba?
Yeah.
There's really a very thin line with that. And like me, I'm actually seeing you researching, moving, and like being very mindful of it is actually like na-inspire ako kasi ako like I know I have a very ako mababaw yung alam ko in terms of like even if I'm here in the Philippines, I'm living here, like hindi ganun kalalim like my understanding of the different traditional dances that we have in the Philippines. Like seeing you like diving deep and trying to learn more of it, parang alam mo nakaka-inspire siya na parang oh my gosh, si Jai nga na he's not living here in the Philippines, inaaral niya yung mabuti na parang I don't have an excuse. I'm here and I should be able to be more knowledgeable about it. Na kasi minsan na-ignore siya, especially in this generation or in this time. Parang it's different na parang for you na you want to preserve that those cultures, those roots, and try to like ilabas siya. Na parang guys, we have to be mindful that this exists.
I'm also parang we're very lucky in the States in terms of access to these types of cultures, at least in California. Kasi we have a lot of strong bases in terms of how to reach back and support Indigenous peoples here and build relationship. And I think that's part of why I feel really grateful to people like Kuya Eric, the director of Parangal, to extend the relationships he's built, and also the kindness of the people that he's built that with to like bring us into these danced forms, to also these cultures to really understand and understand how they want to push forward, how their dreams want to push forward. Because also that's the thing, the hard difference is like people's dreams and priorities here are different than people in the States. That's part of why we're lucky in the outside too, because we've been removed because of the diaspora, which isn't great, I think. But like, there's also more of a palpable and perceptible onus to connect back when you're apart.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
It's not just the feeling of yearning back home. It's also recognizing how little we knew. And also sometimes it's humbling ourselves in how much people here do know, and what is an assumption on our part as folks in diaspora, or what is an assumption that is built by people being part of the metropolis here in Manila, as opposed to in the province, where these cultures still live. Where the people of these cultures still live, and recognizing how their dreams are related to globalization and colonialism.
Yeah.
Like how we're playing into each of these things and trying to recognize and hear each other's dreams. Of course, that's my optimistic side of it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that you don't have an excuse, you know. I think it's just you have different access because of
exactly.
where those resources are pointed.
Yeah.
By the state, by who has the means to redirect. And I think something that is a big dream of ours in many of us in the diaspora who are learning these practices, we're very excited to bring people back to, like, my focus at least is right relationship, whatever that means. I need to keep asking that question, of course, but the right relationship to Indigenous peoples here and how we really hope that folks who are here remind each other that they're here, that we're sharing the resources that have been either allocated or taken away from the Philippines. Like this, how hard it is, mahirap ang buhay ng Indigenous peoples dito. How to build genuine and continuous relationship, and instead of like pushing people to do that, just being like nudge, hey, remember you can do this too. Or like setting up a bridge for those connections to happen organically, making the space for something to happen, as opposed to oh, hey, go learn. It's more just like there is the chance, and I think people growing up here have their dreams pointed elsewhere because of the conditions sometimes. And that's not anybody's fault. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, people want to travel because they know how hard their life is here.
Yeah, that's true. I want to go back to what you said earlier, like the access. It's true, kasi like even if we're here, like we had to, especially for those cultures, we have, kasi parang ano siya hindi naman siya basta-basta to get access on information. It's like you have to have the right people to pass on the right knowledge. Hindi siya yung basta labas lang lahat. Kasi syempre pwede siyang ma-abuse, pwede siyang gamitin, pwede siyang like turn into something that's not connected, or that's not linyado to their dreams, their hopes for the future of their culture, diba? So like
in line with the sacred din.
Yes, in line with the rootedness of where everything began, like kaya siya mahirap din. It's really like how like paano siya knowing the right people who really has genuine connection with them is really important. And mahirap siya. Kasi hindi mo pwedeng basta-basta pasukin siya na parang just cause you want to. Diba?
Yeah,
kasi they're
like,
also protecting what they currently have, and they're protecting their, how do I say, their practice, their space. Diba?
They're protecting ang buhay mismo.
Yes, exactly.
Like, they kasi in
their way of life, diba?
Sa Igal, for instance, like part of the real practice of doing it is, I think, you can talk about it as the Tawhid, their way of sabi nila, divine manifestation and your connection to the land, to everything. I think that's something that I really hope that people get to see on the other side din. That exists in Vogue, that it's not just a party dance.
Yeah.
And people coming into Vogue in the first place, I can explain this elsewhere din. Pero like I for myself, I definitely believe that Vogue is a dance about death.
Yeah.
In its relationship to where it came from, like those stories about Rikers Island. And in that way, and also with its relationship to LSS at every ball, like this, like Vogue in itself has the sacred.
Yeah.
It has its own understanding of the sacred, and it's really these different cultures being put in dialogue.
Yeah.
But also, how is that bound up with like how Vogue is commercialized, or how it's part of a globalizing force for ballroom, and how it brings people resources and or puts people at threat of it being taken away. Parang like that video that I did with where I was dancing, the Pangalay video we were talking about. I was worried that I shouldn't name my teachers, even though like I'm very proud of who I learned from and very thankful, because like I was worried, one, if they didn't support. I know that like for the many that I've talked to, they do, and they know it's a different practice, and I try to make sure that I share that way. I also was worried about naming them, because like what if I painted a target on them by homophobes, or like how do I affect their standing in their own communities? Because that's something they're protecting too.
It's very sensitive. There's the really thin line, and I feel like same thing in ballroom, like you said. It's the same thing in ballroom, that it's very sacred, and there's something that we're also protecting as a community. And I feel like people who doesn't have a full understanding of it, sometimes they tend to like kasi I feel like that's why there's also that gatekeeping.
And that's important in both sides.
Yes. And sometimes people think of gatekeeping negatively when they really don't super understand why it's done. Kasi diba, there are information, there are history archives that we don't just like throw it out there just because you want to learn. Kasi we're not sure how and when you're gonna use, or how you're going to express this culture, this expression. Kaya like it's especially here in the Philippines, it's different, diba? Sobrang, yun nga, what I always emphasize, it's a borrowed culture then. And we have to really know like the history, why it is here now, why we are like gravitated towards it. And mahirap siyang i-explain. Mahirap siyang i-explain talaga. And again, hindi rin siya yung something na basta mo lang sinasabi kahit kanino. Same thing how you protect, and at the same time how you preserve, and how you'd be mindful and not being overly like parang ganto ganyan. Diba? You will know who to share and who to speak it with. Makikita siya kapag, okay, sige. We see you. Gets, okay. Because we know you're in it, okay. Bigay. Pero again, mahirap siya i-navigate kasi It's something na, mahirap.
Diba? I mean, we've also seen how ballroom has been used for things, right?
Exactly.
Sa States, sa lahat.
Yeah, even it's also happening here. Diba? Like, in terms of working with different, how do I say it? Kasi nga, na siya commercialized na siya So, we have to be like mindful about it, like which brands we should work with, which people who really connect with. Ang hirap niya i-navigate. Pero at the same time, we have to think na parang, okay, the kids, the responsibility of like, na parang, okay, we want to give opportunity to the kids who are really putting in work, putting in effort in what they're, in their expression. Sobrang grabe yung navigation. So, hindi siya yung basta-basta. Diba? Especially here, sa growing community, yung ballroom scene here in the Philippines. It's may drastic growth, pero at the same time, you have to be very mindful and respectful talaga. Like, being able to see the pace, how it's going, and where it's going. Diba? Hirap.
Hirap. And
siya.
also, because there are people who are inspired by the culture everywhere. And, hi, meow meow. The girls are fighting. I like. I guess diba? I think there's a. I don't know if it would be a stretch to say that Manhattan also works on island timing, because it really doesn't. It has its own timing. But I think there's something that I've learned from how people talk to people, how some of my colleagues have been witnessing island timing or have grown up in it. Like that different relationship to each other's emotions. Like, I think part of that teaches a lot about how to do that touch and feel response of like, is this the right time to share? Diba? And I mean, like when we're pushed by the pressures of capital, the pressures of the metropolitan area, like pressured by city timing, it changes things. And that happened with, it pushes us to go faster than the speed of trust, or slower than the speed of trust. Then, like I think that, I don't know if people would think of it this way, but I think that's actually what happened sometimes in New York when Vogue was globalizing first. Parang when everybody wanted a piece of Vogue, or everybody, when we saw the straights doing dips, we still were. There's a lot of there were a lot of straight boys in ballroom. Just saying. Also, I don't know which were which. I'm thinking about like the b-boys that had such a strong influence on Old Way. Yeah, like how there's a lot that I think that ballroom now in the States can learn from how Philippine elders protect their practices. And I wonder how that goes. And I also don't know like if it's just something that we can even say that it's something that ballroom needs. I don't know all of ballroom's needs. But at least in terms of the growth of a culture that wants to protect itself and protect each other.
And that's true. That's true na parang yung timing, the timing of growth, that's something that I'm also like being very, paano ko masasabihin, very careful in like, kapag nakikita ko na now, community now, like I'm so happy that it's bigla siyang boom. Pero at the same time, there is that may kaba moment na parang shocks ang bilis. Pero syempre at the same time, it's kind of scary na parang oh my gosh, you have to make sure na these kids really know what it means to be a part of this community. They should be able to have that right understanding that it's not all just for the arte. It's not just about that. There is something deeper about these expressions, these movements. And Pero like again, it's something bigger than all of us. So sometimes you just gotta trust the process and just let it flow. Pero at the same time, alam mo yun, you have to be like, okay, pasok, tas okay, kind of like, okay, step back.
Parang
Like,
soft
let's
and
see.
kind.
Yes, exactly.
Kasi
everything has to be organic talaga eh. The growth has to be organic. It shouldn't be forced. Like for me, it's something na kailangan na parang tamang guidance, tamang timing, tamang process. It has to be that. Kasi kapag yung sobrang pinersa mo, bababasag yan eh. Diba? Kakalat sa sabog. I mean, yeah. So as much as possible, as much as we can, parang ganun natin siya. Onting alog, sige, go lang. Pero like, we're here, we gotta like, mahirap siya. Pero
something.
Diba?
Yung the feeling of, like it's not just, that's something. It's not just the feeling. It's not just anong ramdam mo. It's the feeling, kasi it is bigger than us. The feeling of the room. How are you feeling the room? It's pakiramdaman. It's yeah, like it's more, how are we paying attention to the way that we even just slow down and take a breath, how that changes how other people can feel the vibe of the room with us. That is soft and kind. And that is necessary for actually noticing how the party will go. Because if you're just dramatic the whole time, you're gonna cause drama.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hi.
So parang, lang talaga, as in parang, tamang silip, tas biglang, okay, wait lang, let's see. Kasi lalo na ngayon, dami ng bata. There's so many kids. And their energy is like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. And you can't just take that away from them. Kasi they're feeling themselves. So just let them flow. Sila yung sumabog. Pero syempre, may tama kang guidance, may tamang pero like, sige lang, go. Tas tamang feed din ng confidence na, girl, you got this. Pero, remember,
get you ready, and
rooted.
Then I will be real with you.
Yeah, ganyan. Pero syempre, diba, you have to be like, let them celebrate. Let them just feel themselves. Pero, rin siya eh, right pace. Mahirap siyang iganon. And ako personally, what's happening here in the Philippines is like, I'm seeing like the kids before, they're becoming leaders now. And I know that you see that, you feel it, you see it, how they are like, how they speak, how they carry themselves, how they also like post on social media, like their comments, diba?
Like they're recognizing themselves as part of the bigger global ballroom.
Yes. Kaya parang, oh my gosh, nakaka-proud seeing the kids grow and like evolving to who they are now. Kaya, grabe, nakakatuwa. Are you feeling it? When
I walked up to you sa summer ball ni Ninoy, that's what I was feeling.
It's different. Like most of the kids, they're like grown up now. They're leaders. They are like, they know who they are. They have that parent instinct na talaga. Diba? Kaya nakaka-proud. You guys know who you are. Shout outs to all the parents of the Kiki houses. You're doing good. Kaya nakaka-proud.
Kasi I'm thinking about what would make a child here, ang bata dito, ready for ballroom in New York. And also, what would the adjustment period be like? And I think a lot of the leaders before, like you and Nunoy have thought about this a lot as well. And I think that's something that's on the mind of a lot of the Kiki House parents. They have their eyes set now for Europe, for New York, and so many of them, I think, are ready in terms of performance level. They're ready.
Yeah.
And I do think there's going to be the culture clash that they have to prepare for.
Yeah.
Because I needed that when I came here. I still do. I'm still not great at pahiwate again.
Pakiramdam.
Anyways, kasi they'll do it. It's not just that they'll do it differently there. It has a different effect, different orientation to it.
Yeah, that's true.
And,
different ways of doing things then.
Oh yeah.
Very.
Not saying it's better because sometimes it's messy, sometimes it's not. I think that there's a we might have to edit out this pause. There's a
I feel like they have to just experience.
They do. Because I can trust that they will find their feet.
Yes.
I think that there's a level of just a reminder. It's like, hey, it's different there. I trust you got it, but it is different there. You will feel it.
Yeah.
And I think that itself would be the best preparation anyway. Parang, like, that way they can have a real genuine experience.
Yeah.
And also they can decide what is a good lesson to bring back to
Yes, exactly.
What is a good lesson to bring from home.
Yeah, what is applicable for the growing community here? What will help it like grow more and flourish? Ganyan. And it's also a good thing, no, that we're seeing more and more international visiting here in the Philippines. Na parang they're getting to experience like how it is. Like yung nakikita yung comparison between yung sa Europe scene, like US, because we're having different judges here coming in and out. So they know. Pero I'm so proud like seeing na parang they still have that, they have that feeling na parang we're Philippine ballroom and this is what we want to show on the floor, which is also something that's powerful and strong. Kasi there's a different hatak there's a different push. There's a different story in their movement, in their expression. So, yeah. So I'm excited.
I just had a reflection point, and this is not shade to anybody. This is me realizing, yes, many of you are ready for Ballroom in New York in my tingin ko. And also, don't remember to take that with a grain of salt from me. Kasi I don't want to build anybody's ego too big. Kasi it's very... Ballroom in New York is the most humbling space, and I love it.
Yeah.
There are huge egos, pero the compartmentalization there is shared. That idea of like you leave it on the floor. It's like, no, people really do like work things out there.
Yeah, that's true.
Not everyone, but some people really do.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, even if you're in a different house, you will see there's still that like, I see you, I respect you, I got you. I mean,
and sometimes we're just like, we have beef, but also that shit sometimes don't matter.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. And I feel like that's something na parang we have to maintain here in the Philippines. Like, it's kind of hard kasi diba, nag-iiba-iba. Pero like, that's something that we have to hold on to as a community kasi nga we're growing And again, wag natin kakalimutan na parang, guys, even if it's a different house name, it's one. We have one goal here in the Philippines. We have like one community. I mean, it's a space for all of us. So let's lift each other up and support each other in any way possible. Kasi, ayun, tayo-tayo lang to diba? Tayo-tayo lang yung magtutulungan. So parang, again, just leave it on the floor.
Leave it on the floor. And if it does extend beyond it, trust that there are ways to make sure to help the other person feel heard. Because that's where a lot of the breakdown happens, in my experience. When people don't feel heard, big ruptures happen.
So communicate and know how to communicate.
Right?
Know how and when to communicate. And kasi syempre, we have to know kung paano niya tatanggapin yun diba? There's a different way of like saying. Kasi minsan, It could be offensive.
Oo nga.
So, be mindful rin. Kasi alam ko naman kilala nyo na lahat ng isa't isa. May mga tao na parang, they can take it ng derechahan, pero may mga tao na parang, oops, wait lang. May pampering or may different way of,
or ano,
yung dialogue ba?
different
Oo.
space making,
Oo.
parang like, can I talk to you real quick?
ay
or
ganon.
like, ano,
Depende sa personality niya.
yeah,
You
and
have to know that.
yung style of ng, ano, yeah.
Yeah. Even the tone, the right words to say.
Tama.
Diba?
Like, and how that's something. I realized something that changed my mind a lot about things. It's not that we didn't grow up without pakiramdam sa States. It's that our pakiramdam is very different.
Okay.
And ano, maybe pakiramdam isn't the right word sa States din. Or like, pakikisama. Like, many of us in the States have a different orientation to ourselves. But it's that same, like, do you feel the room, and in what way?
Yeah.
That's the lesson, and different sides of the lesson that I've been picking up with what we've talked about throughout this whole thing. Cipher, mga cipher cultures. When we're thinking about how different pushes in cultures change, like, or can affect people outside of ballroom. How people in ballroom here and people in ballroom in the States can meet and or
Yeah.
I feel like also I just want to say I'm sorry if I forgot to mention anybody so far. Because like there are more Filipinos in ballroom than I'm mentioning right now. And also, I don't know if it would be weird for me to shout y'all out. Because I want y'all to grow, and I want y'all to, I want to raise y'all up because y'all's movement speaks for itself.
Yeah, that's true.
The Filipinos often
Everyone's
cons in the
fucking
Bay Area.
amazing. Everyone's crazy. You have it.
Go, Shani.
Seryoso, I mean, sobrang lakas. But again, always stay humble, feet on the ground, and like just be accountable for each other, especially in this community. I know na hindi naman, we're not always like together like every day, but we always like, alam mo, that the support on social media can also be something. Like when we talk to each other, just maintain that connection kasi for sure bigla na lang yan, vroom. It will all change, and as much as possible we want to stay connected, lalo na it's still growing. We want to stay connected as much as possible. Have that mutual respect, very important, like respect each other, where we all came from, where we are at in our lives, not just in ballroom pero outside in ballroom, where we are at in life. And again, it's all about love and all about being seen, being appreciated. Yun yung sobrang important na parang, yes, we all can be nasty here and there, when and where. We have times na parang, okay, masama yung araw mo, pwede mo siyang mabuo sa ibang tao. Pero again, hindi natin alam kung ano yung pinagdadaanan ng taong yun. At this time. So, kailangan try to be bigger persons and respect, give love, share love, be humble. And yeah, mahirap siya. Pero like, girl, we got each other.
I'm remembering when I first came here. Some of the girls, their first reaction to me, like, kasi akala ko I didn't have it, but turns out I have RBF. Capricorn rising ako. Yeah, sabi nila, like, wow, I thought you were a bitch. but we've connected a lot deeper now, and I'm really thankful because that's what at first they were cut, like, matalino sila kasi they're very sharp on their ability to appraise people dito. mga Filipino, mga ballroom children dito. It's also I was paying attention then about like still need to like how I am, the ways in which I'm understood, because like I didn't even know what it could have been that made me seem like a bitch. Turns out it was because I was flipping my hair when I was dancing. I'm like, damn. Y'all thought I didn't want to talk to you?
Kasi like simple nuances, parang they notice, which is something.
And sometimes I'm not even aware, which I need to keep building.
Which is okay. Kasi parang sometimes may gano'n talaga eh. Parang, alam mo yung sinesense mo muna, okay, wait lang. Okay ba kami ito? Magiging okay ba kami ito? Alam mo, tatansya ba? Tatansyahin mo siya na parang,
Very Filipino, also very ballroom. It's like,
very natural.
All right.
Pero once you have that click, girl, hindi na siya mapuputol. Once you already have that string of connection, kahit gaano kanipis yan.
Because I know the safety you build with each one person, especially in ballroom, more so than any other Filipino community I've seen in Manila, at least. Like, it's more like it's actually more like the connections that I've had to province, because you do have that connection and your safety with one person, the safety you've built with one person, through that person's grace, they've extended it to other people.
Yeah.
And that's why, I think there's a lot of, that's part of why I don't like clubbing sometimes in Manila, is, I've talked about this with some of my friends, is like, it feels, because of how sharp people's different barkadas are to protect themselves from outsiders.
Yes.
Sa tingin ko, I think that's what's happening. They either are like, or like, it's okay, I'll just dance from here.
Yeah.
Or like they want to eat you.
Yeah, minsan. Pero minsan kasi, di ba, parang may, like, there are spaces wherein parang, okay, tatansyahin mo if you really have the same, like, you're in the same, how do I say it? Same connection, same wavelength, or same something, di ba? Parang may tansya talaga eh. Tatansyahin mo siya. That feeling na parang, okay, do we have something in common? That's one thing na parang always hinahanap eh. Na parang, and pag once na meron na, dire-diretso na siya. And yun, wala lang. Masaya lang. It's human connection. Di ba? So yun, wala lang. Nakakatawa. And ako, like, and ako, seeing you in different spaces here in the Philippines, like parang, andun din siya sa ganitong space. Nag-aaral din siya nung ganito. He also, like, very, very artist ka. Like how I see you, very, not just in dance, not just in
movement. Suerte because I can do that. Like, I wish more people had access that way. And I'm also like,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, kasi like, having those kinds of like connections, ibig sabihin, ikaw rin mismo as a person, you can hold that. Alam mo yon, yung parang, okay, kaya ka binigay ng ganung klaseng access because you can share it, you can understand it, and you have a way of like deepening it ba? Parang ganyan. So, that power, I mean, yes, it is a responsibility for you to take care of it and for you to share it sa mga tamang tao who shares the same mindset as you. It's very important yung mindset if you're in the same goal, same mindfulness ba of things, of how you see things. Instant yun eh.
That's something that is happening in ballroom dito. Parang the way that people are not just connecting people with elders or with people, legends or statements sa iba't ibang scene. It's that, more that like, what I think I see is like the parents dito, they're like, you should go talk to them. Tapping them on the shoulders to empower themselves.
Yeah.
And that's powerful.
Yeah. Kaya nakaka-proud talaga. As in, nakaka-proud. Like, nakikita na lumalalim talaga bawat isa sa inyong mga bagets. Hindi na kayo bata. Oh my gosh. Again, you're the future leaders of the community here in the Philippines. And it shouldn't stop there. Because it's always passing the torch. Passing that knowledge. Kasi knowledge is something that should be shared. Especially if we see that the next leader is ready.
Mhm.
Kasi makikita mo yun eh.
That the next leader is ready, that we see them tapping into what the needs of the spaces that they're
Yes.
connected to are, di ba?
Yes.
Parang-
Next level. Responsibility.
Mhm.
Next, kumbaga, you're ready.
Mhm.
And so yeah, so you have to see that in our community now.
Which folks are doing the good level of listening muna.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. Grabe no, nakakatuwa. So, what are the things that you see very unique in the community here in the Philippines? Name siguro 3, something that you feel like very unique in our community here. Kasi we started 2016.
Mhm.
And no time na yun, very small the community. Tapos sobrang nag-grow talaga siya during pandemic. During pandemic, that 2 years, ang daming kids who really honed their skills during that time. And after pandemic, they all came out. It was like crazy.
Mhm.
Tapos
Incubator.
after nun, parang naano talaga sila eh. Niluto nung pandemic, kumbaga. Alam mo yon, na 2 years na yun, sobrang gutom. Sobrang dun talaga sila lumakas. As after nun, nung nakalabas na, biglang boom, 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 boom. So, I'm sure I hope you're seeing something na very unique. What are those 3 things that you can say
Okay.
uniquely Philippine ballroom community?
That's some things one of them I've said already. The strengths of Old Way dito. Like, y'all, I love y'all. And I want people in the States to see you because it's so strong. Here in Vietnam, seeing Old Way build. Because last time I walked in New York, I was the only Old Way in OK. They do walk Old Way more now. They have the category more, and more people have started to walk. Pero I still think that there's more here.
Interesting.
At least sa sense ko. 2 is, I would say, related to, it's specific to childhood dito. One of the femme queens here, and I love that I got to connect with her this way. There was a picnic that we had kasama ni Nunoy sa Circuit Makati last year. Lovely that he organized that. I believe it was him. I really loved getting to spend time with everybody outside of the context of competition and also class. And jam even. Kasi I think it was RC. She told me that, like, I never had anybody to play these. We were playing childhood games with Nash, I think. And everybody was learning them. Nunoy and I were learning some that we hadn't heard before. And we were trying to participate and figure out what they were. And we're also
what kind of games they were playing?
Parang I'm gonna go to Bicol this weekend. I'm bringing my ma along. Can I come? Yes, you can come. Parang
yeah.
And we have a game like that in English. There's also some in Tagalog lang that I hadn't heard before. When there's the language barrier, pero also, sabi ni RC, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. Alam mo, I love that we're getting to do this because I didn't have friends to play these games with before. And that shows up in Nakan's chants and how that's specific to how people like know childhood chants across parties dito. Like it happens in the
yeah.
whacking scene. Then like at Curb's event, we had that. I think it was, I forget who started it, pero like at one point we were all. When else will I hear somebody singing "Jumbo Hot Dog" to a house beat?
Yeah.
Or like people being excited about the idea because we don't have very many banji cunt dito. Because that flavor is very New York, very New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
There are banji cunts across the world. Parang si Edgar actually, sa tingin ko. I think we have Budwat's cut here.
Yeah.
I talked about this with Blaze before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
Budwat's
we
cut
do.
is like would be potentially
Yeah.
a very specific version.
Yeah, we do have. Actually, we have a DJ, Thea.
Oh,
Yeah, she does that.
Go.
Yeah, she does
And
that.
yung Kikios of Dirty, either Kalat Kiki,
Mm.
like seeing the category, that's something
Very
that's very
Filipino.
specific here
Yeah.
too, is how tapped in, because we've been talking about the connection to culture dito. Even the first ball that I was super sad that I missed,
Mhm. Which one?
before the OTA ball. The one with UP Diliman. The one hosted by I think Anansi.
Oh, is it that one?
I don't remember who hosted actually. But it's the one that
In Camelot?
no, before. I think. Was it Camelot?
I think Camelot.
It was the
one that folk.
the folk legends and
Yeah,
like
folk
that.
legends, yes,
those
yes,
categories
yes,
have
yes,
extended beyond that ball. Then,
Yeah.
like even this last one with
Yeah.
Glory, the Glory
Yeah.
Kiki ball, those categories were amazing.
Yeah.
They charged each other to tap into pop culture dito,
Yeah.
to culture ng mga ninuno dito.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
And that's so Filipino. That's so Philippines. Like being able to incorporate those in our balls here is something that's uniquely ours din talaga.
like
Kasi-
usually in other scenes you only see it as a blip.
Uh-huh.
Like it's just one person walking.
Mhm.
Even in my scene, like people recognized, oh, I was doing binasuan in one of my hands categories, but it was also people here who recognized it.
Yeah.
Sorry. And yeah, like there's that cultural manifold that is specific here.
Yeah. And dahil shared experience siya,
Oh,
shared
man.
culture siya, ang bilis siyang gets agad. Especially the Jejemon realness.
Jejemon.
You know?
It's the
That's-
humor. That's number 3.
Yeah.
The humor dito
Yeah.
changes everything else.
Yung gets agad, diba? Like parang, oh my gosh. It's crazy. I
It's
love it.
yung emotional agility ng mga Filipino when they're teaching, when they're sharing about jokes that they want to tell you,
Mhm.
or when just the speed of the way mga Becky,
Exchange.
the speed of exchange with Becky's and humor, like that doesn't stay just in language.
Mm.
You
That's
see
true.
it in like that's one thing that I was so happy I didn't have, like I could just trust that if people would get is like I had a hand session last time I was here,
Mhm.
and like yeah, there was some wiggle room that people needed to tap into what that felt, but they were telling jokes so quickly.
Yeah.
Jokes that I didn't get, that I was just like, go.
I love it. Totoo, no? Ang daming unique sa Philippines. Kaya parang it's really something that we all should be proud of, because there is something that's uniquely ours that we can offer, that we can really put on the floor, and we shouldn't take away. Na parang yun yung tayo eh. We can't deny that. I mean, it's something we can grow more from. Diba?
Paano mo sabihin thick or
Makapal?
uh,
What do you mean thick? Makapal
just
lang,
like
malakas ang loob? What do you mean? What context? What context is that thick?
thick. No, three Qs. Thick as in like it just or dense. How
Kaya mo yan.
it's the that's what aids how quick things happen. It's because of how dense the
connection is.
connection
diba?
and
Yeah.
there's something else that I learned in because there's so many languages here in the Philippines. How sharp everybody has to be when it comes to thinking about jokes that will carry, because that's how they build safety. It's also how people build understanding. I learned most of my Tagalog through jokes. And that's not just like being dirty or anything. It's just like I learned how the language works by people trying to make jokes and or watching them land or miss me.
Yeah. Actually, you know what I noticed na gumaling ka mag-Tagalog from last year. True. Like before, kailangan super straight English. Pero ngayon, carry na, hindi masyado. Yeah, that's
I've been
true.
trying.
Kasi diba, iba talaga yung language din dito. It's so many. There's so many.
Marami akong chops.
Pero pwede na. Carry na. I mean, now it's clear and how you say it. I mean,
Salamat.
perfect.
I think,
Nakakatuwa. And we love seeing you always back here. Na parang, tapos mag-goal kami, dito ka ulit. I love it. I hope you keep coming back here in the Philippines.
Sana ko I can live here for a little bit.
Yeah,
Please.
Why not, diba?
I'm looking for work dito.
Yeah.
Finding,
is it more on art? Or any type of work?
Sawikat actually. Sawikat.
Sa wika.
Oo nga. I'm
Okay.
and on books din maybe. Pero I have one of my other projects is building a collection of this is also a plug to help me find rare books.
That's good.
I'm looking for books in different Philippine languages and or whether they're zines or anything. Kasi that's something that really I wanted to keep building was my understanding of different people's languages dito. And also to build access because there really isn't very much outside of the Philippines for learning different people's languages. And even just the barrier between Tagalog and Bisaya or between those two languages and the rest of the languages here.
Yeah, that's true, no? So many
Which ones were
languages.
used as like colonial projects or not.
Yeah.
Like trying to build kind of like ang archive and also to understand mostly how the gays in each language speak.
Actually, iba-iba, no? There's so many. Ang galing, no? Pero galing. Pero we're connected by, like, feeling. Minsan, no, even if you don't understand each other's language, parang there's that instant feeling, ooh, this is my peer, I got you. Parang ganyan, diba?
Like, there's all the other lesson I was trying to bring up that I learned was someone told me before, in the Philippines, we don't always have the luxury of talk kasi maraming wika. We have to go off of what we barely understand of each other. But I think that's part of why we're very good at building humor and also very good at building embodied relationship. That's also part of why like it was so easy, I think, for people to learn and build their own storytelling skills, and why I was so impressed with it here when I came to that first jam is like, it's not just here's these jokes I don't get and I want to be part of it. Yes, I want to be part of it, but no, it's just like, wow, they're so fucking smart.
Yeah, there's that very witty, may street smart, merong and I feel like there's that genuine like intention of wanting to connect din. There's also that na parang wanting to be a part of something is also
that want is part of what pushes it up.
Diba? Minsan if hindi ka pa sure, pero the fact that you're in that space means you want to connect. Diba? So very interesting, very interesting. I know there are lots of people who are really interested in ballroom right now. Na parang, I don't know if you've noticed, but most of the kids who are walking now and has different houses, most of them really started as spectators talaga.
Oh, wow.
Like
They
very-
waited a long time.
Yeah, and they're very respectful of the community na parang, okay, watch, support, and then try, and then like that. And seeing them consistently,
And they, based on who I
ma-understand
talked to,
natin na parang, they really want to be a part of it.
Parang ano, that's part of how they told me about their own journeys because I'm further away, and they're like, no, I waited for a long time. Like, I really respect that.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
They
I think
waited
that
to understand
tama.
the feeling muna,
Yeah.
and that's something that's also specifically Filipino, is that style of the degree to which you will wait muna
Yeah.
before as salang puso muna.
Yeah.
Tsaka,
Yeah.
like,
Very respectful. Very respectful, no? Nakakatuwa. Mabait niyong lahat. Galing, no? Ay, parang nakakatuwa. Nakakatuwa siya. I mean, parang which is tama naman. Tama mentality din. Diba? It's a
right relationship.
Yes, exactly. Kaya rin sobrang dikit ngayon ng community because of that same parang utak ba in entering a space and being a part of a community, being a part of scene, especially a growing community, being very respectful of how it was built, being respectful of how it is growing and the pace where it's going. Diba? Very
It's also so inspiring to see how the growth here is affecting growth elsewhere in Southeast Asia. Parang I'm thinking about how strong the Vietnamese scene is so small now. But like I saw their ball like from I think 2 days ago, and Saigon is building. Minerva has been helping push so much there. Aurora too, like getting to see how dedicated those kids are and how connected they feel to the rest of Southeast Asia, even though they don't get to come as much. Just like seeing Minerva come out here so much too is like, you can do that. We're actually neighbors.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's true. Sobrang nakaka-overwhelm din. Na parang, so guys, I mean, this is what I've noticed when I visited Vietnam then last time. Na parang, oh my gosh, I never thought that the impact of the Philippines is like that na. I mean, parang we're just doing our thing. We just keep on, just gawa lang ng gawa. Tapos parang, guys, nakaka-inspire that people are inspired by the fire that we have. And like you said, na we're just here. We're here to help. We can go here, anywhere, and just like that is what a community is.
Totoong pandaigdigan, totoo.
Yeah.
Yung daigdigang kapuluan type.
Yeah.
Tayong lahat.
Yeah, exactly.
Kasi especially in Southeast Asia, like seeing how people are connected that way.
Yeah.
Kasi we're not as far as we think na.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for noticing those very unique things about Philippine ballroom, about the kids, up and coming leaders, and how unique the community is here. Next, I want to ask, since you've already know the kids here in the Philippines, sino yung top 3 na kinabahan siya. Sino yung top 3 na like, you can say, ito, chill muna to, chill question.
Okay.
Chill question to. Top 3 that you feel like you're most connected to.
Okay.
Talagang sobrang close mo na. Pag meron kang gustong okay, message ko siya agad. Who are those 3 people?
Okay. I don't think I would narrow it down to 3.
Okay, sige. Who are your most close?
The people that have, I'll put it this way. The people that have reached out to me most often, other than, iba't ibang balikbayan, because we've connected more. Si Feline, she's the one that I get to connect with, and she and Misha I've connected with a lot. Also si Magenta. Who else? This time, I think I get to connect quickly, but I know that like marami ganap siya si Xyza. And so it's always warm when I see curves. The people that reach out to me the most, though, I think are Feline, Lakan, Magenta, at saka, there's more shit. I'm gonna forget somebody, and it makes me sad and scared, and I love people, but I...
Kabahan ka pag napanood nila to. And then minsan talaga guys, yung nakaka-mental block pag nandito na sa interview.
And people have their own life worlds here, so I don't actually mean that that's bad. It's just what my experience is.
Yeah.
And like, somebody that I'm really sad I didn't get to see this time because we talked about it is Silver. Because like I wanted Silver and Mercs because I missed them.
Aww.
And I got to hang out with Oz this time, and I want to hang out with... I was supposed to hang out with Lakan. Pero, like, walang parang...
time. Yeah. Nakakatuwa kasi most of the people you're connecting with, they're like really close to like art. They have a different expression apart from ballroom.
Also, different timing.
Yes.
Because everybody has their own thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Okay. Sige. Ito mas fun. Top 3.
Oh my God. That's such a scary phrase.
Top 3 that you would want to like battle or have an exchange on the floor with.
What's a battle?
Yeah.
For myself, I need to rebattle
Silver.
She stormed me on my first walk here. I don't even know if it was on purpose.
Feeling ko hindi niya na-realize yun.
Oh yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I was like, damn.
Next time you
I
storm
flew all
her.
the way here.
Next time, storm her. Charos.
Oh, now she's gonna know. Oh, you.
Silver.
I want to... The people that I want to battle here, a lot of them... I want to battle a lot of people. But, like, also when I say that, I mean, like, I think because I see their Vogue, I'm like, damn. I told my friends, I need to level up.
Yeah. You want to exchange with them to be able to, like, elevate.
Oh, like, that's what I have with my sibling mercs. Like, I've talked to them about, like, how I've seen their growth and how, like... I was jealous of it at first, and I was happy that they were a person I was safe to talk to about my jealousy about it. And some of that is like a private conversation. But like I think the lesson that I would keep like wanting to bring out of it, but for people is like something that they said. It was when we're on the floor together next. No, I got you, but let's put on a fucking show.
Yeah.
And that's what I think I see in... I want to battle the old ways here so bad and be... Like, I think my old way is good. And I know I have to catch up. I have to catch up with y'all and the Mizzas. I have to catch up with Curves. I have to catch up with, like, the old ways here because of how strong their old way is. And... also because tumaba ko. But part of that is like when I can find time for training, and like seeing folks here really motivates me that way. So other than the old ways, I want to battle folks here that want to pull out the soft, because we've got a lot of dramatics here, which is so good. But like who?
Top of
I am not on her level. I will say that. I want to. If I could do.
Go.
I'm scared of
Don't be shy. It's a challenge. I mean, it's a challenge for you, and it'll be interesting.
I adore the ninjas, and I want to battle them both.
Yeah.
I want to battle them both.
Okay.
Because it's really fun dancing with them anyway.
Yeah.
The The first, at the OTA ball, we didn't get to exchange many words at first because I was very shy. And it came across again as I'm a bitch, but like the smiles that I could share with them, with those two, are part of what made me feel a lot more comfortable that night.
Yeah. It speaks volume, no? Sometimes just the look, that small gesture is already something.
And just like like I felt it in their hair, in the way that they threw their hair, the way, like, the gentleness of it, and also where their hand, like the way that their hands carry through the extension, like that's the level of feeling I want to draw out in my Vogue, and I don't have the control that I want anymore. I had a lot more of it before, but I like the way I Vogue now. I also want to be able to bring out some tricks that they're not expecting. So that's what I'll be working on a few things.
Yeah.
And I can't believe you made me say this about Vogue. but
we're excited to see you.
I also want to battle you.
Yes, let's do it.
I want to, because I know that, for instance, your old way, and if ever I get a chance to actually train new way, like, I know that my relationship to those two forms within ballroom is different from your experience, both in how I've witnessed you teach, and also the outcome. Because you have your own style. I see the influence from Kopi, but I also see I know I remember going back to mga play battle sa Conduit, and I really enjoyed watching yours and Jaja's ingenuity, and I'm like, I want to bring more ideas because I see y'all dance. That's what makes me want to battle somebody. It's like,
let's go. Maybe we'll see you on the floor.
Okay.
If not here, somewhere else.
I'll battle any button ups. But yeah, I want to, like, I love ballroom in the playfulness of battles.
Yeah.
So, like, there's so many people here I want to battle because, like, I want to know what it feels like to battle you.
Yeah.
And if there's more hands folks in the future, come join my category. Or also, if I can battle someone in Vogue to anything, I'm gonna get you. But for hands, this last experience with Matthews, when I battled them, I have never been so happily sad. Because it was one of those moments where I just felt like I know why I'm losing and I don't care. It feels good to know it because I know immediately, and having that knowledge of like how good they are at it, of one of my favorite categories, just like, is not just gagging me and making me lose. It's also like, I felt like when I came out of that battle, I knew exactly what I needed to do to catch up.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it was going to be easy.
No? Yeah. It's that exchange that instantly, like, okay, realizing na parang, okay, this is what I want to work on. This is the level that I want to be in.
Tama.
Parang ganun, di ba? And it's more of that. Those kinds of challenges will really push you. And I feel like because there are so many jams here in the Philippines, like we just exchange. Kaya mabilis siya mag-level up. Huh?
The locking at the summer ball, incredible.
Diba?
Go watch those clips.
Okay, sige. Now, something be more specific this time.
Okay,
ito. Be more specific.
I'm afraid.
Just on top of your head. Fun. Ano lang, something fun, something cute. Top 3.
Fun means threatening.
Top 3 that you are like parang, I wanna like a piece of this person. Like,
what does that mean?
Like someone na parang kind of attracted to, like crushy. something that you would maybe like want to date or like get to know more.
You're
Not-
dangerous.
like someone na parang not just on the floor, not just an exchange of battle, but like you want to know more deeper, like crush or something na parang you feel like you every time you see this person like may ganong factor, like may ticklish factor, may ganyan.
You said who is nakakikilig?
Oh yeah, exactly. Who is nakakakilig for you? Top 3.
That's crazy.
Let's go.
Oh my god. So, me 007.
Who?
Me. I'm kidding.
What?
Pero actually,
Game. Don't be
meron
shy.
akong boundary sa yun.
Talaga.
Oo nga. I try to be very specific and intentional about like how things mix that way sa ballroom.
Yes.
Kasi I've seen a lot of houses explode.
Yeah.
I haven't been in
naman.
them. I've witnessed them
Because of
die.
that, no? Because of that, usually, no? Pero ito, something fun lang naman. Yung parang, ang cute niya, gano'n. He's cute. She's cute. They're cute. I feel like,
You know how scared I am to answer that question. also because I have my eyes elsewhere. So my boundary
Gets.
has pushed me outside of the ballroom. Pero it's not like I'm also closed off. It's parang like I have the boundary of like can we even get to the level of being like intentional about how we talk about? I'm sorry, I know I said I would be more specific, but I can't.
Pero gets. I understand naman.
Yeah,
Gets
like
naman.
I want to make sure that if there's ever because
Don't
it's really
cross
hard.
that line, kumbaga. Ish.
Treat it like a dance. Are you doing so respectfully? Are you not just about my boundaries, but like, are we being intentional about how we're affecting the rest of the scene?
Gets.
It doesn't mean we're gonna control everything because we can't, but like, are we like aware of each other's boundaries about privacy? Are we aware of if we're open about it? Are we on the same page about what we want? Because at this moment, I'm poly. I feel comfortable in that. Also, part of the reason I'm not answering this is because my feelings are messy right now.
So later mo na lang sabihin kapag off camera. Char. So secret na lang namin. Sorry. Char. Okay lang yun. Pero yeah, I understand.
How do you say it? Nakakadai?
So very respectful. Aww. Nakakatawa naman.
Trying to. I know. I want to be in any dynamic, even friendship
Yeah.
lang, fubu lang.
Yeah,
like,
true.
There has to be that type of shared intention.
Carry.
Kasi like,
I understand.
sa fubu din, buddy mo na.
Yeah, true.
So friendship mo na, always. And friendship that focuses on that level of care.
Connection,
Even if it feels like, I don't know, if it feels messy, how do we untangle the mess?
Yeah, yes. Oh, that's smart.
Because I've been in
In
a situation where, one, I have dated in ballroom. I'm still friends with one of my exes that is in ballroom. She's my bestie. What's up? Can we get rid of that actually?
Okay, sige.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Yes,
you.
okay.
So
siguro start with I've been messy in ballroom.
I've been funny
Parang
sentence.
hindi pa.
I have dated in ballroom before.
Yeah.
I also I have been in a situation before where the power dynamic was intense. Parang in one of the like outside of ballroom. I've been in a company with somebody. They were my director. We were very close. Something to say like that. And like I know how that made ruptures.
Yeah, I understand.
And not just between me and the rest of the company, but also just like I think that could have ended up differently. But like and I don't mean like, oh, it could have been we were together. It's more like
yung dynamics.
The wounds we ended up with could have been not as bad as they are.
I guess, yeah. Okay. Kerry. I understand.
Kerry Hilson, sometimes love knocks you down.
I understand. So,
Salamat sa understand.
yeah, oo naman. Oh, sige, ito. I feel like last question. Top three ulit.
Another?
Top three. Like, if you want to name like an international judge or international personality in ballroom that you would dream of, like, nasa tingin mo, how do I phrase this? Top three, like, people in ballroom that you think you wanna see here in the Philippine ballroom community. Kasi malay mo, may mga nanonood dyan na gusto padalhin sila dito. Like a dream of who you wanna bring here. If you have all the resources, you're gonna fly them in here in the Philippines.
I will, if it was like first step, the folks that I want for like the first step, Omari Arichi. Uncle, I have giant respect for you, and also I think you need to see the ways in which, I hope you can see soon, the ways in which people are weaving their cultures together here, and the way that you do there. Between West African tradition and all of the styles that he does, Afrobeats, everything, so New York. Part of why I think he's a very strong international overall father. Many of them have already come here, so. But in terms of next step, Suzume 007, I have been hoping, because of how she has shaped my old way as well. I haven't taken very many classes with her, but I know that she had a gigantic impact on how I see the dance. Who else?
She is actually here.
I know that.
Yeah.
Because we've been messaging. And I know. Wait, I can already say that there's a flyer with her name on it. Sino ba? There's a few. I'm biased towards Old Way. Yanu.
Okay.
I don't know Yanu yet. I want to meet Yanu. I want to learn from Yanu.
Work.
So but like, yeah, I think it's those folks. I need to check myself. I also would really love if, easy peasy would be like, if ever Sanaya wanted to come here, because I would really love for like the femme queen presence from the States to get to know, and also so we can understand how to hold each other that way. Because the femme queen presence here is so different than femme queen presence there. Even in the between the bay too. Like, I'm gonna add one more too.
Yeah, go.
Kasi, Auntie, I miss you. Shay, Hype Kitty, please come through, and Pack Rat, my aunties.
Ooh,
because
yes.
Just the level of detail too that they have in their relationship to Vogue, in their passion for the scene and how much they take care of it. Like, my aunties have given so much to that culture, and I would just really want them to see how it's building here. Sanako, if you see the podcast,
yes, I hope you visit. And just throwing this out in the universe, I'm sure it'll happen soon. We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. Manifesting their presence here in the community here in the Philippines soon. Yeah.
There's so many names I want to say. I want to bring I want to bring Uncle Soho out here. I want to bring Eve Saint Laurent out here. I just want them to see it so bad.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, kasi the community is really strong. It's thriving. It's so hungry. And yeah, nakaka-inspire lang everyone who's part of the community now, who wants to be a part of the community, everyone who's been on the floor, spectating, being in the presence of the space. You all are contributing to what the Philippine ballroom community is now and moving forward. And you are a big part of the community here as well. So thank you for being a part of it. Thank you for witnessing it grow in just 2 years. I mean, there has been a drastic change as you've observed, diba? So like your presence here is also something that we are yung humahata kami na energy with your presence. So thank you for that. Thank you for your time. Thank you for always coming in and out of Manila. Not just Manila, outside Manila, in and out of this archipelago of this country. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your story. And we're excited to see more of you on the floor.
I'm feeling ko nervous. Pero the nervousness that comes with looking forward, and also being like, please, if there's anything that there are gaps in what I'm saying, please, I am very happy to address anything. I'm really thankful that you wanted to do something like this. Kasi it's not just about like what's on my plate going forward. It's also, I'm happy that the conversation went the way it did. Because it just feels good to be able to talk to people intentionally about how the scene is developing. That's what I've wanted to do that's why I was really happy when I came here last time, because we were already like jumped straight into that conversation.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to talk about with other Filipinos in the ballroom diaspora too. Parang si Posh, like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm talking as if I have regular conversation, or like continuous conversation with them. But I mean, I've only had like small bits, but like just knowing that people are talking about navigating this intentionally, both the growth of the scene coming from this globalizing culture, and also the how do I say, how it's meeting different cultures here in the Philippines, like, and not just as a monolith, like the fact that people that I didn't have, like, one, that was a conversation I was hoping was happening, but it's a conversation that's happening whether or not I'm in it. That is both inspiring and also very comforting. The kids are all right.
Yeah.
You know?
Pero like, I'm sure it talagang super humahatak sila ng energy from you coming in and out. Kasi you know naman the kids here, not everyone has the privilege or the capacity to go in and out of the country.
Oh wow.
Yeah, as
like
much as
this, I feel
possible.
very lucky that I even got to come here a third time since that first one.
Kaya as much as possible, if we can bring in people outside the country, kasi kita talaga na talagang lumalaki lalo yung fire nila. Like, it really gives them something that keeps them doing what they're doing, diba? Kaya, yeah. So yeah, very thankful talaga with your energy, with everyone visiting the Philippines. Thank you to everyone who's here witnessing the growth, sharing your experiences, yung mga international na pupunta dito, like the fact that you even consider dropping by Philippines is already something. I mean, even for a short period of time, kahit isang araw lang yan, it means a lot for the kids to exchange conversation, or even kahit hindi conversation, just an exchange of like a movement or being in one space is already something, kasi sobrang they're really hungry and they really want to get to learn more about the culture, the community, and yeah, crazy. Oh my gosh, well, really, thank you. We hope to see you again. Come back always. And to everyone out there, hopefully you get to visit the Philippines, especially yeah, it's a growing scene, and most of the kids really wants guidance, and we also want to know the different perspectives, and we want to hear your experiences as well. Diba? Kasi we learn from everyone. That's what, yun talaga siya. Iba-iba yung experiences ng mga tao, and sa mga experiences nila, lahat tayo may natututunan. Diba? So yes, thank you for your time. Thank you for your time
Thank you
today.
for your time too.
Thank you for bracing. Thank you for
Yung top 3! Yung mga top 3!
thank you for
Ikaw! Ano sa'yo?
secret din. Guys. Pero yeah, thank you for this time. Thank you for this exchange. I loved our conversation. I learned a lot, as in promise. And I appreciate you being here. So yeah, thank you. Is there anything that you would want to say? Is there anything that you would want to like plug, or like invite people to watch, or like anything that you want to say to the kids, to the Philippine Ballroom community now? Let's go. Any shout outs, anything that you want to say?
I've been trying to uplift as many people as I can think of throughout this, but when we give each other the space to dig deeper, like without the pressures of the timing that we tend to have, like parang sa what is the next big thing in Manila, or sa tabloid, or sa those spaces, I think, are actually very important for any scene, and that not every scene gets. I think New York had it because it already existed. It had the spaces outside of the balls that the balls grew up alongside. And the scene here will be specific to the culture and the spaces and the barcadas that exist, and how they develop. When we give each other the space to really dig deeper into it, like for ourselves, to really to use language of Vogue Femme, to understand our own ooze, to dig deep to our roots. Like when people are given that chance, it does make a huge difference in their development, both for new ballroom folks, and also for people who've been in ballroom a long time, people who are trying to connect back, balikbayans that are trying to connect back, or people who are trying to search for themselves outside of the Philippines when they've been born, when they were born here, when they grew up here, when they're searching for themselves in the broader expanse of the world and in their relationship to this land. That's something that ballroom is always figuring out, and also what mga indigenous peoples, or the people who are indigenous to the lands here, like that's something that's part of like the condition, right? Yeah. Part of what people are deciding to always have to deal with, and the question they always have to answer. That type of space building, I think, is much more valuable than a grand prize. And I think it's part of what draws people to ballroom. A lot of people to ballroom, and if we forget that, it changes what can come out of ballroom and also what ballroom becomes. And again, I am just a half Filipino, half white person who is a guest steward ish to the culture. We're still guests to this culture too, but like it's not just the magic that we have given it, but it's a magic that we can cultivate within it. Like we can add to ballroom's magic of being able to do that for people back in the States from here too, and back and forth, and also to see what ballroom can do. It's also not without its problems. So making that type of space intentionally is really important. So let's do it together.
Yeah.
I took so long to answer that question.
But I love that. I love everything that you said. So yeah. Thank you again. Thank you so much. So yeah. We are ending this podcast. Thank you, Jai. Thank you for your energy, for your time. Don't forget to follow his socials.
Also, we haven't said this. My pronouns are they, them.
Ay, sorry. Oh my God.
No, it's okay.
Kaya
It's
pala
okay.
sabi ko kanina parang, wait.
It's okay. It's okay. But no, if you switch between he, she, they, then you get me. And maybe you'll see more of me. Kidding.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that reminder. I appreciate it. So yes, don't forget to follow, like, subscribe. Here.
Here?
Here. Ta-da! And don't forget to like and subscribe here. And yeah, we'll see you again on the next episode of Ballroom Eksenahan. Bugsh.